you guys. Happy Monday. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. We had a good weekend.
Yeah.
I danced my literal ass off.
Yeah.
I had to have my ass surgically reattached
yeah.
on Sunday because
I
danced it off
yeah,
Saturday night.
She was on MPP.
I was so sore when I woke up Sunday morning I could barely move.
She's getting that shape. And then we saw, we'll talk about it later. Saw fucking old dude fucking with some escorts. He had 2 escorts with him.
Allegedly.
He had 2 escorts with him that were like 21, 22 each. He's probably my age, but I looked at him, he looked like a fucking old man. And they were out there dancing, pretending like they were interested in him, and they had to go take a break. They're out there fucking smoking and shit. It's fucking funny, man. All these old dudes showing up with their escorts. It's funny, man. Everybody in the club's fucking our age, right? And Jed's like, God damn, you and that other guy are fucking unicorns.
Yeah. There's one other guy that goes there who's he just turned 50. His birthday was last week.
Yeah.
And
all the women chasing him.
Well, yeah.
He looks good.
Yeah, he does look really good.
Yeah,
and he's a super good dancer, and he's super, super nice.
He's nice. Yeah, he looks like something off of Morrissey album or something.
Yeah, he has that kind of retro.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you saw one of those Smiths videos for like Stop Me If You Think You've Heard This One Before or something where they like the rolled up jeans and
he looks like a rockabilly kind of guy.
Yeah, he looks like that.
But you know, he's pushing 6 feet tall. I think his name is Chris, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's Chris. Yeah.
Yeah. He's hung out with me a little bit, but he's probably pushing 6 feet, and he's in fucking real good shape. And for 50, he looks fucking really good.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, and I told him at his birthday, I said, "Bitch, you're just a fucking baby." He said, "How old are you?" And I says, "I'm 55." He's like, "You're 55?" And he's like, "Oh, he felt better then." "Oh, okay, all right, yeah." I said, "You're just a fucking baby."
Yeah.
And
I think he liked that.
Yeah. And the hottest old chick there is fucking after him. Yeah, she's pretty hot.
Yeah.
And fucking if you're still fucking hot after 50, you're a fucking unicorn.
Pretty much.
Because I'm looking around at all the other dudes and I'm just going like, damn, these dudes, man, just not staying in shape, man, not taking care of yourself. Yeah, but let's go ahead. But anyway, I will have a whole story about that shit later. This movie right here, I grew up with this movie. It's called Without Warning.
Well, that's one of the names.
One of the many things, all right?
It's also called It Came Without Warning, which sounds kind of dirty.
Yeah.
The version we watched...
Came without...
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to...
It never happens with me, though. I got to work hard for that.
And the version we watched...
Jay, talk dirty. Okay, yeah. I calm now, yeah.
I know exactly what I have to say, and it works. It works every time.
I'm like, oh, this is
it works every time.
This movie here is a legendary flick that's not known by very many people.
I mean, don't hype it up too much because it's
no. Let me do what let me work my magic.
Okay, sorry.
This movie actually is the movie that Predator 1 was ripping off. This inspired Predator 1.
Yeah, kind of.
Predator 1 was actually the product of some Army veterans saw this movie and said, yeah, that's a fucking cool idea, but it's wrong. And then they revamped it with fucking some security contractors running into this damn fucking alien that was hunting humans. This movie is that. It's just that it's not well executed. But it's very interesting to watch. And the dude that plays the alien in this is the same dude that played the alien in Predator.
Kevin Peter Hall.
Yeah.
That same tall, skinny guy.
He's in it. And the alien costume is actually pretty good.
It's not bad for as cheap as this movie was.
For as cheap as the movie is, it's pretty good. Just that they don't do much with it.
Yeah, you don't see it much. You don't really see it until the end.
You don't see much, and it doesn't do much. But it has a lot of the elements of Predator.
Yeah, I mean, the general outline is kind of the same.
Yeah, so a crazy Army veteran Vietnam veteran who's old sergeant, played by fucking, what was that guy's name?
Martin Landau.
Martin Landau plays him, crazy vet.
Called Sarge.
Sarge, yeah. And he's fucking convinced that where aliens have invaded the Earth and that they're hunting, killing people, and he's got to do something about it. He's right, but he's crazy too. And then Jack Palance is in this. All right. And I think this is after that blow to the head with all that damn styrofoam.
I can't remember.
Was it after? He seemed to be suffering from a head injury caused by falling styrofoam.
We were joking about what fucking movie was that?
I mean, it was robots in the fucking robot war or something.
Nah, was it? I don't remember what it was.
The Shape of Things to Come, I think.
Oh, it might have been. Yeah. It might have been the H.G. Wells one. But yeah, I mean, Jack Palance, he's a great actor. He won Oscars and shit like that. But man, he was in some real questionable movies. Like
when he got older, he had to start
when he needed
slumming.
a paycheck. Yeah. And if you guys have seen Outlaw of Gore, which was on MST, which was an Italian movie, and he was in that wearing probably the most ridiculous hat ever conceived.
Yeah. But Jack Palance is fucking awesome. You know that dude's fucking drinking on set too.
I think everyone was probably drinking on set this movie.
The only dude that probably abused it more would have been fucking like Richard Burton. Richard Burton abused
and Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed. Fucking, I still want to have a scene.
Bitches back then drank, you know.
I still want to have a scene of me and Oliver Reed wrestling naked. Like out of that one movie. Imagine that. Jim
We're gonna have to AI that shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna AI that. I'm gonna do a deep fake.
Reed's been dead for a while, and he used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid.
I could do a deep fake of that.
Fucking probably. Yeah, I love Oliver Reed. He's a good actor.
I do too.
And he was a good dude. Fucking crazy,
but crazy drunk.
Yeah, it would have been fun. He always got arrested. He'd come here to the U.S. and get arrested for fucking getting drunk and then challenging fucking Marines and shit to fucking arm wrestling in the fucking bar and then take all his clothes off and walk around the street naked. Sure. And then fucking American cops would pick him up and he goes, "I'm Oliver Reed, though. Oh, you got the accent. You're an actor. Okay, yeah, it's all right. We'll let you go."
All right, we'll just take you back.
We're just going to take you back to the hotel. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
You just lay down now. You'll be all right in the morning.
Oliver was cool,
but yeah. So yeah, I mean,
they could only do that shit back in the 70s. It's played out now. You get shot nowadays doing the shit Oliver used to do.
Yeah, you probably would.
Especially in Florida. Yeah, you pulled that shit in Florida. The cops are. Let me see your hands, sir. Let me see your hands, sir. Okay, fire them up.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what would happen here. Yeah,
it's sadly true.
Yeah, it's a different time. It's a different time.
Everyone's a little on edge.
They're on edge nowadays. Yeah,
a little on edge. Mostly for no reason, but whatever.
Well, depends on how you look at it.
I guess.
If I was a cop, I'd be watching my back now too. I'd be worried.
Well, the reason that people are worried is because they perceive the cops are trigger happy, so it's like a
vicious cycle.
Vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Because like people are like scared and it's like, oh shit, I'm getting pulled over. I'm gonna get shot in the face.
If you get pulled over by fucking Florida cops, I never had any problem with Florida cops. Be very friendly and let them see your hands. You'll be all right.
I've only been pulled over once or twice in my whole entire life.
No, they're all right. Just don't fucking resist.
But yeah, so this movie here, so this movie, I don't know exactly how much it costs to make, but Greydon Clark, the director, who I'm going to get more into that in a minute, said that it was under $200,000, and half of that was the salaries of Martin Landau and Jack Palance.
Half of it was their salary?
Half of it was their salaries.
It's kind of like an all-star cast when you think about it.
Oh, and you know who else is in this? David Caruso.
Yeah.
Wearing some upsettingly tiny blue shorts.
Yeah, and they got two hotties. They're supposed to be teenage girls. I don't think they're in their teens. I think they're in their 20s.
Are they supposed to be college students?
I think so.
I mean, they look like they're in their 20s or 30s.
One of them was a Playboy bunny. One of them was a Playboy bunny. She's pretty cute. Then the other one was pretty cute, too.
One of them, the main one that doesn't get killed, spoiler alert, was actually, I think, was on Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, okay.
Like that soap opera.
Yeah. All right, the weird thing about this flick, when I first saw it, what I noticed is that, like, man, this is in television aspect ratio.
The version we saw
version we saw. I didn't know if there was ever a theatrical release.
Well, here's the thing. Some of the people that I saw review it, I guess Shout Factory just put out like a DVD or a Blu-ray of this only in 2014. I don't think this bitch ever even got a VHS release. That's how under the radar it was. But somebody finally dug it up because of the Predator connection.
Yeah.
And so they put it out on Shout Factory. And the version I saw that they were reviewing looks really nice, and it's widescreen.
I'd like to see that.
So we saw just like a free version that was in TV aspect ratio and looked kind of crappy.
It's on YouTube.
And the audio was kind of muddy.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You can see it for free.
And I think, I'm not entirely sure about this, but I think some scenes might have been, like a couple minutes might have been cut out here and there.
Okay.
because I think there was a scene. I don't remember seeing this, but there was a scene like earlier on where the two girls were looking for the bathroom.
Yeah.
And Martin Landau was like he wasn't in the bathroom, but he kind of like approached them like after, and I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah. What's funny is that this movie's from 1980.
Yeah.
It's basically in a slasher format. It's got 2 cuties in it, and there's no nudity.
Yeah, there was no titties. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, and that one girl ended up being a Playboy bunny.
Yeah, she was on the. She on the cover.
Why are they here if they're not topless?
I mean, this is the '80s, bitch. Right, if you're gonna get like Playboy bunnies to put in your movie, they got to get their kid off it.
Now the other one, the one that had the braids, I don't know what her name was. She actually was kind of like co-starring in this. She had a leading role. She made it all the way. She was like the sole survivor of this movie.
Yeah, she was the final girl, essentially. Everybody else died. Spoiler alert.
She was in some other movies, but she actually kind of carried the movie, so she's acting. The other one got killed off pretty quick, and you see her. They had like a quick kind of like a make-out scene with her and this other guy.
Her and David Caruso.
Yeah, while they were on the fucking end of the lake, and then next time you see him, she's hanging up in the damn predator's damn fucking meat locker.
You kind of saw her titties then, like after she was dead, sort of. Oh, that's right. There was kind of a thing around it.
Yeah, she had a tube top on and a little bit of fucking.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Bulge, kind of.
I was like, where were the titties?
Bulge. But they wouldn't show. Hey, Jen wants to see too. We're like, let's pay up here. Okay?
Everybody wants to. It's an '80s horror movie.
We have here.
I want to see boobs.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
I did not want to see David Caruso's tiny little package in the tiny little shorts. I don't know how big his package is, but he had very, very small shorts on. Remember how small those fucking shorts are?
Yeah,
They're in the 1980s.
It's ridiculous.
Oh my god, those like little jogging shorts.
Yeah.
And then there was one scene where he was like sitting, like on. They just got to this lake or whatever, and he's sitting on this rock, and he's like making a comment to his girlfriend, like, "Oh, last one in to the lake will get stuffed and mounted." Because of, the animals and shit in the whatever. And he's sitting like this, and the shorts are like way the fuck up here. I'm like, I did not ever want to see that much of David Caruso's butt cheek, okay? Even like the side of it.
I remember that time dudes were in like between 1980 and 83.
That was without warning.
Dudes were wearing fucking tennis shorts too that were about that short. They had pockets, and they were like dress pants, but they were super short.
Yeah.
Real tight. Remember that? And they were supposedly not gay. Supposedly that shit wasn't
gay.
He had straight dudes wearing them.
It's like, do I necessarily want to see David Caruso's milky thighs?
Yeah. I think it was gay.
I mean, David Caruso's fine. I don't mean to pick on David Caruso. I know a lot of people pick on him because he has that fucking carrot orange hair, which he does in this too. But, I mean, this might have been his first movie. I'm not entirely sure because he's real young in this.
This is not a great movie.
And he gets killed, like, in the first 10 minutes, I think.
This is not a great movie, but it has a seed of greatness in it. It has some good ideas in it. You see where Predator came from. And I grew up with it. I saw this bitch on Cinemax.
Yeah.
That's where I saw it. And they were and for a while there, one summer, they played this shit every fucking Friday and Saturday night.
Because it probably like cost nothing to show it.
Yeah, they would just play that shit.
Oh, look, we got a super chat from Zach. Thank you very much, Zach. He's like, oh, wow, I just Googled this movie, and the cinematographer is the guy who did Halloween and The Thing and Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Like I said,
an all-star cast.
There was some talent behind the camera. Like the video, the version that we watched was not great quality. So it was kind of hard to judge, but some of the shot compositions were actually kind of.
Now I actually want to get the Shout Factory. What do you call it? Shout Factory.
Shout Factory had it,
I bet you the Shout Factory version is probably pretty damn good.
And I've heard it has like a really good director's commentary on it. Oh, I was gonna say too that Greydon Clark, I knew that name because you guys know I'm an MST fan, and all MST fans know who Greydon Clark is because Greydon Clark also directed Final Justice. With Joe Don Baker, which is one of the best episodes they ever did. It's a terrible movie. He also did Angel's Revenge, which was like that Charlie's Angels ripoff, which is also terrible. And he did Satan's Cheerleaders, which I haven't seen in years and years.
The only thing I can really fucking knock this movie for is that it has a decent alien in it, but they don't use it. They should have shown it several times throughout the movie. In this one, they only show it at the very end. They shouldn't have done that. They should have did just what they did in Predator. Give you glimpses of just its hands or its feet or whatever, and it doing things, interactions with the characters, and it slowly reveals it. That's how I would have done it. In this movie, you don't see the alien until the very end. You only see the alien's weapons, which are these little pentagon-shaped creatures that it throws. They glow around the circumference of it. And he throws them like a frisbee, and they come flying at you, and they hit you. And at the bottom, they have a mouth with a bunch of teeth. And at each one of the points of the little 5-pointed fucking pentagon shape, red tentacles that are sharp come out, and they dig into you and wrap around your bones so you can't pull it off you. And it's sitting there biting you, trying to eat its way through you.
Then it spews condiments out.
Yeah, and it
ketchup
spews
and mustard.
Fucking shit. Yeah,
it's very goopy.
Green goo and
it's
shit.
Very goopy.
But
the effects are pretty good for as cheap as this movie was.
As cheap as it is, yeah, especially. But fucking Martin Landau gets fucking smart. When every time he gets hit with one of those things, he'll pull a knife out and cut a big X on it and kill it. And
well, Jack Palance is doing that.
Oh, it's Jack Palance doing it. That's right. Jack Palance is doing that.
Oh, wait, here's another thing, and this just occurred to me today. You remember the scene where Jack Palance, he has one of the death pierogies, like, get on him?
Death pierogi. She's called it a pierogi.
Well, that's kind of what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of, like a little flying dumpling type of thing with teeth on it. And so, like, it gets on him, and he cuts it off, and then he's all jacked about it, and he puts it in this big jar, I'm presuming of, like, formaldehyde or whatever. But it's like he didn't do anything with that, though. I'm like, why did he keep that? Like, was he going to breed them for later, or...
I guess it was proof that they existed.
I guess.
But he didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
There's not a lot of... the story, the way it's told, there's not a lot of reasons behind certain things that happen. And there are a lot of scenes inside a bar that has just people who are like, the bartender chick and 2 other drunks at the bar. And they're discussing and fucking about the alien invasion, and most people don't believe it. They think it's all full of shit.
Yeah, they think it's like tinfoil hat.
Right, and what it all amounts to is it amounts to time suck. They're just, it's filler. That's the problem.
There is kind of a lot of filler in it. It is kind of slow. It's only like 89, 90 minutes long.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of scenes where you can tell they were trying to pad it out to feature length.
Talking about it.
Which was kind of a bummer. And, well, somebody said, High Desert said, sounds like a ripoff of that Blade Ball from Phantasm. I was actually thinking that it was a ripoff of the mind control bat things from It Conquered the World from the 50s. Like, Peter Graves was in it and Beverly Garland was in it. And in that one, like, the alien, who I think was from Venus, if I'm remembering correctly, and he looked like a big zucchini with a face.
Yeah.
Kind of. And he lived in a cave, and he actually, like, sent out these little bat things that kind of looked like this but bigger. But they would get on you, and then they would take over your mind like a Kami hive mind type of thing.
And the movie is homaging that movie.
Yeah.
Because Sarge believes other people have been taken over.
Yeah.
So they're assuming that you've seen that movie.
See, that's what I thought too, and that might have been because when you were telling me about it, you said that the little death pierogies like got on you and took your mind over, but they don't.
I didn't say that.
Or you thought that about that?
No, I didn't. No, I never thought that.
Okay, I don't know. But like, I just had that perception, and then I'm watching it, and I'm like, well, no, they're not. The death pierogies don't really do much of anything. They just kill you.
They just kill you, yeah.
And like, so I was thinking, okay, well, I guess they're homaging It Conquered the World.
Yeah,
but then on the other hand, why didn't the alien just like kill him some other way, which would seem
they were homaging that movie.
Yeah,
but they didn't have that feature. Although Sarge thought they did.
But Sarge thought that people were being taken over by the aliens, and so he was flipping out.
Yeah, because he saw that movie.
Maybe that's what it was.
That's what it is. He saw that 50s movie,
Yeah, I kind of like that they had Martin Landau and Jack Palance were in this, and they're both kind of crazy. I mean, Martin Landau clearly much crazier.
Yeah,
but
come on, Palance is fucking crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, like less crazy though. Because Martin Landau just, like, loses his fucking shit, man. Yeah. He just goes back into whatever. But it's just I kind of like that they had the two crazy characters.
Yeah.
Because Martin Landau was, like, not You know, he was a Vietnam vet, and like everyone, like he came in there like, well, he's harmless, like whatever. Like turned out that was not the case, but okay. So he had been talking about these aliens invading like for a really long time, and everyone just thought he was a crackpot. But you find out later that Jack Palance's character, who I can't even remember what his name was, Turner, Parker, something like that.
Yeah.
He actually also believed in the aliens, but he didn't tell anybody because he's like, yeah, I see how they treat that motherfucker, so I'm just gonna like keep the shit to myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the crazy veteran act, me being a crazy veteran for the VA, the crazy veteran act that they're playing is just fucking stale and fucking stereotypical.
They kind of do that.
shit.
Yeah, it is very like that's very tropey.
He's fucking doing fake salutes and fucking giving out his fucking service number and just tropey.
Like he thinks he's back.
And I guarantee you,
back in Nam.
Yeah, like I'm back in Nam, and
yeah,
I guarantee you, the vets that saw this movie were pissed off about that. The Vietnam vets were pissed off about this. Is we could do this shit better.
Yeah.
And then they wrote the fucking script.
They wrote Predator.
They wrote the fucking script of Predator 1. That's what it was. They liked the idea, but I guarantee you they did not like the fucking Sarge. The Sarge character was written by civilians, definitely. Only a civilian and old civilians from another era. You wouldn't write a character like that today, saying and doing those unless you knew absolutely nothing about the military and PTSD. But the dudes that wrote Predator 1, they knew all about PTSD. Yeah.
Well, that's why that's a way better movie.
That's why that's a much better movie, yeah. And now, the Predator, or Predators, the one that had the fucking crazy dudes from the VA.
Yeah.
Parts of that movie were good. Other parts weren't. I actually liked the VA characters.
Yeah, I did
from
too.
that one. Yeah. I liked the black guy, and I liked the fucking, the lead guy. The other one...
that was the one with Adrian Brody. You know?
Yeah, Adrian Brody did that. He was a vet.
And his cool-ass nose.
Yeah. They just kind of... The power armor fucking thing, and the Predators using genetic engineering on themselves and to improve themselves. No. You're going too far outside of it, the fucking original concept. They're just an alien. Stop fucking complicating things too much, you know? And stop talking about them aliens. The more you talk about them, the less fucking mystique they have. That's another problem with Predator and Alien from the Xenomorphs. Don't talk about them.
Well, see, okay. Well, here's the thing, and I was actually thinking about this while we were watching this movie. I said, I can kind of see... I don't know if they were thinking about it this much. But they had the alien makeup, or the alien suit, which, like I said, was Kevin Peter Hall, same guy that played Predator. He played a lot of monsters. Like, he died fairly young of AIDS. Like, he got a blood transfusion, and he got AIDS, and he died really young. Sadly. But... So he was in this, and like I said, the alien makeup was pretty good, especially for a movie that cost maybe $150,000, which is nothing.
It had a good alien costume, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a good looking costume for that price point. But the thing about it is that I don't know if Greydon Clark has this much knowledge or this much insight or whatever, but it's like maybe he was trying to do a thing where it's like, well, it's going to be like Jaws, where I'm not going to hardly show the monster until the end. Because up until really like the last 10, 15 minutes, you don't see the alien at all. Like sometimes you see a shadow, sometimes you see someone reacting to it, like, holy shit, what's that? But they don't ever show it. They show like lots and lots of the little death pierogies, but that's about it. So you don't really see it until the end. So I think maybe he wanted to like, which is a good idea, but I think in this case... Maybe they should have showed it, not full on, but maybe they should have given more hints of it leading up to it. Yeah. Because they did like POV shots, and just like sometimes there'd be like a shadow.
The little kids saw
it. Little Cub Scouts or whatever.
They're just showing you the shadow of it, and the little kids saw it. They should have showed it. Yeah, it was a decent costume. They should have showed at least its arm.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. Yeah. I thought. Yeah,
and they should have had it doing more stuff. It doesn't really do anything other than stand there and throw fucking these...
Yeah, he's just standing there.
Standing there, yeah. Whoosh. Yeah. Whoosh. And the dude that was in that costume, of course, he did Predator 1. He was a dancer. He knew how to fucking... He made that movie. He made Predator. Just the way he walked around in that fucking costume. He's just physical acting. He sold that Yalta animal, alien thing. If it wasn't that dude, that movie wouldn't have been as good.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, he knew exactly how to
I mean, that
walk
monster
around.
is just like one of the best monsters.
One of the best
ever.
of all times, yeah.
And it's like that shit still looks good, like to this day.
Part of it is fucking the fact that it's not digital. It's kind of just it's an analog film, and it's kind of low res, so it hides a lot of the imperfections of that costume. But that costume was really good, and the dude that was in it was fucking knew how to walk.
Yeah, because that's another big factor.
Yeah.
Ian said the alien shriek sounded like an elephant, which is weird. Yeah, I had commented on that too, like when he gets blown up at the end. Again, spoiler alert.
Yeah. Same as the Xenomorph.
Yeah, I was like, that's an elephant sound. Maybe they didn't know.
They used that in Aliens.
No, yeah, I guess
when they were crushing the Xenomorphs, it's an elephant going. Rah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, like, it's not a bad idea to mix together, like, especially if it's an alien species, like, mix together some animal sounds, but don't just use one that's, like, super recognizable, like an elephant. Like, mix it with something else. Yeah, I know. Oh my god, I laughed about this because Ian's obviously seen this movie multiple times. He's, like, quoting from there, come on, hubba hubba.
Hubba hubba, yeah.
And, like, and we were, like, mystified, but I'm like, that's not,
hubba?
You're not using that in the correct, I was like, this is like this is old shit.
Yeah, I'm like, but how are they defining hubba
But
hubba?
I kind of feel like back in the old days when somebody said hubba hubba, that meant you saw somebody hot.
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything to do with like come on or hurry up or anything like that. That was like Cameron Mitchell at the beginning, right?
Chick, she had a booty, or if she was fucking big.
Yeah, you're like,
boobs,
ooh, hubba hubba.
That's what
right. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything like so the context of that scene, that was Cameron Mitchell playing like a hunter dad. He doesn't last like 2 minutes in this fucking movie either. And him and his porn stash son with his unbuttoned shirt.
Yeah.
Looking like John motherfucking Holmes. And like and
25-year-old John Holmes.
And the implication being that the son, I don't know if they were implying that he was gay, but the dad did call him a sissy.
He called him a pussy,
quote unquote. He did call him a sissy.
He didn't like Hunt.
Yeah. So it's just, and he's like, Dad, why does it always have to be like that? I'm like, you don't have to go with your dad hunting. You're like 30. You don't have to do this
I think
anymore.
25.
Don't do this to yourself.
No.
But yeah, he's like he's trying to get him out of the Winnebago, and he's like hubba hubba, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Now they got another star that shows up. He plays the Cub Scout leader. Before he gets killed.
That's Larry Storch.
Larry Storch, that's his name. He was in a bunch. Storch, yeah.
Storch.
He was in a bunch of fucking TV.
F Troop is what he's most famous for.
F Troop, real famous for F Troop. He was in that. But I remember seeing him, in this when this was on Cinemax, and fucking getting like nostalgia, seeing that dude. Oh, it's him. Yeah.
He was in other shit too, but that's what he's best known for.
He was a fucking character actor back in old Hollywood from that time, and he was just trying to make a living. He was another one that would just be in anything. If you fucking hired him, he'd show up.
He didn't last too long in this movie either.
Yeah. He was a good character actor.
I mean, that's why they killed off like all the other kind of famous people like early on, so they didn't have to pay him as much.
Yeah,
I guess.
He was a good character actor though. He would show up to settle you down, so you knew who somebody in the movie.
Although he's kind of like annoying as fuck in this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he gets killed. Like
I think he was supposed to be.
And fun fact, that Cub Scout troop was an actual Cub Scout troop. I saw it.
Makes sense, yeah.
I saw it in the
that's how you would source Cub Scouts.
I was kind of hoping. I know this is going to sound bad, but I was kind of hoping that all the Cub Scouts were going to get killed by the aliens.
They should have been killed, yeah.
But they didn't. Like, you only really see them. I'm a terrible person.
This is an American movie. They don't kill little kids.
I'm a terrible person.
Yeah, they don't kill little
Larry
kids
Storch gets killed.
Yeah.
Like, he ends up in the aliens' food storage shed where he's putting all the dead bodies.
Yeah.
But the Cub Scouts like see the alien. You don't see the alien, but the Cub Scouts see him and are like, ah, and they start screaming and running away. And then you don't see them again. And then later on, like some radio thing or something says like, oh, they're going to get those Cub Scouts out of the woods or something. So I guess they were okay. But I was just kind of like, man, how fucking ballsy would it have been if like the fucking alien killed all of the Cub Scouts? And just like there was all these little Cub Scouts like hanging in the shed. That'd have been fucking awesome. But like I said, I'm a terrible person. Just not in real life, obviously, but in the movie that would have been funny. But yeah, so I don't know. I liked this movie. It's an interesting.
It's an interesting piece of history.
It's an interesting piece of history just because.
What came from this?
Yeah, but the thing about it, I'm gonna say that if I didn't know that this is the movie that kind of kind of inspired Predator.
No, it did. It did.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like that didn't really come across. Okay, I'm going to say that the alien hunting the people didn't come across that well.
Mm.
And I think that they knew that because Jack Palance actually says expositions, like, outright, like in the third act of the film. He's hunting us like prey animals or whatever he says. And I was just like, I kind of feel like they felt like they had to add that line of dialogue because it wasn't clear what the alien was doing.
Well, it wasn't clear because this was not storyboarded. Okay.
This was like a cheap ass movie.
This is some cheap ass shit. Okay. That was the concept. That it was hunting people the way a professional hunter would, because it starts with professional hunters hunting human professional hunters hunting other animals.
Right.
But this is not really. It's not fully baked.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, the concept isn't really. It isn't.
Right.
They don't clarify it enough for the audience.
And the reason why is because the dudes that wrote this, one, were not hunters. They don't know anything about it. They're just making that shit up. Two, they're not veterans. They don't know anything about the military. And one of their main leads is a veteran. Real veterans saw this movie and liked it, but then saw the weaknesses and says, we can fix this shit. Because they were infantry vets. A lot of infantry vets are country boys. They know all about hunting. That's why they joined the infantry. So they understood the hunting aspect and the military aspect, and they knew how different those two things are and how the interplay would be. You have a bunch of soldiers doing soldierly shit, but then there's an interstellar fucking hunter. And there's a difference with that. But everything the fucking hunters does or in Predator corresponds with real hunting.
Yeah.
Like, they keep finding entrails. Well, that's because he's field dressing them to make them lighter so he can get them up to the top.
Yeah.
That's what a hunter does.
And that's what I mean. That's why in that movie, even if you don't know much about hunting, it's very clear that that's what the alien is doing. It's put across very clearly.
Right.
And I kind of feel like they didn't do that in this one.
Right. And he's not fighting them. He's hunting them. One at a time. And he kills one dude because he's wounded. That's no fun to hunt a guy who's wounded. So we just take him out of the fucking picture. It was Pancho. Pancho got wounded by accident. The counterweight hit him and fucking busted his ribs up. Now he's tying up the rest of the game. They're trying to carry him. So, man, that's fucked up because that's fucking up your hunt. So we get rid of the wounded guy so he doesn't have to be carried anymore, which frees up your prey. Everything the Predator did is what a game hunter would do.
Yeah.
Under that circumstances. And that's why that movie's a fucking classic and you can't beat it.
Yeah.
And everything the soldiers do, that's real. That's real. That's the way it really would be.
Because you can tell that people that knew what they were talking about wrote that
the script. And then they had on-site military advisors, and then half the cast is ex-military.
Yeah.
Arnold was fucking a tanker. He was an Austrian tanker. So there, so
we've been watching a documentary about it's actually a limited series documentary on Netflix. It's just called Arnold, and it's like 3 parts. We watched the first. It's pretty good actually. Yeah. We watched the first 2 parts last night. I like him better as a person.
Yeah.
Like, now that he's older and he's like not so cocky anymore.
Yeah.
Like, he seems more like a regular.
Well, he was always cocky.
I know that. He still is, but he's more.
That was his shtick.
Yeah, and he's very clear about it. It's like, it was all bullshit. I was just.
Yeah, well, he tells you, I do this because it's his defense mechanisms.
Yeah, like I said, it's actually quite insightful.
Yeah.
About
Arnold,
the way that he's.
I kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah,
I know.
Arnold talked big shit because that's how he was pushed himself out of mediocrity to become awesome. He's his biggest critic.
Yeah. Well, I think
I'm the same way.
Yeah, that happens with a lot. I mean, I'm like that too. So it's just, it seems like a lot of people who are creative in some way or end up doing something awesome or something like that are usually like way harder on themselves than anyone else is.
Yeah. All that shit that fucking Arnold talks is fucking psychological warfare.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't believe it. Or he doesn't believe it as much as you think he does. It's tongue-in-cheek shit.
And like I said, he's very clear about that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the, because obviously he's older now, but they have like a lot of really long interviews with him, and it's actually really interesting.
Yeah, but if you go back and look at all these fucking excellent flicks, excellent movies, ones that stand the test of time. The scripts were written by people who had life experience backing that shit up, and then it was executed by people who had life experience in that subject. Only if you're a writer, only write about shit you know about. If you don't know about anything, don't be a writer. Go out and get some experience and then write about that.
You can write about stuff you don't know about, but you better go and consult with somebody that knows what they're talking about, so they can tell you, no, that's not right.
Right. You can't pull it out your ass.
Right. You can't just make it up. You just can't.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's total fantasy, but even then, you still have to. You have to have like a grounding in
Stephen
reality.
King pulled everything out of his ass.
Well, not everything.
Well, when it came to guns and shit, fucking he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Okay, he should have fucking got somebody on board to say, "Is that right? Did that?" And it would have been a lot more believable. But mostly it's fantasy. He's kind of pulling it out of his ass.
I mean, he does. I know that he did. He had a neighbor for a long time who was a doctor, and so he would always ask him any kind of like medical questions or like any kind of fucked up. So, how long can a person live without their spleen? Or like questions like that. So he had somebody to go to with that kind of stuff. But like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny. Phantom says, "Is the alien in this a traditional looking alien gray?" And
Kinda.
Ian said, yeah, it does look more like a gray. Yeah, he's real tall. He has clothes. He's not naked. Like, he has an outfit of some kind.
It's got epaulets that come out, and it looks like a net.
Yeah.
Kind of like a net. He does. You can see that the Predator kind of borrowed some of the stuff. He's not wearing any technology that you would recognize. He's wearing biotechnology. These little things that he throws, they're live. They're living creatures.
Yeah. Where's he getting them from?
He just had them. He got them out of a bag. Didn't he have them in a bag?
I don't even know if he had a bag. It looked like he was just pulling them out of
here's something
thin air.
This is something that some people have to understand. When you see this movie and when you see the Predator series, the Predator, they call it a Yauta, I think is what they call it. The weaponry that it's using is not modern weaponry by its standards. It's using fucking archaic weapon. It's using primitive weapons by its standards, which is what hunters do. Like, when it's bow season, you're out with a bow. That's a primitive weapon. Or black powder, you're out there with a muzzle loader. So a lot of the stuff that the Predator is using in the movies would have been... I mean, this motherfucker's got spaceships. He's got interstellar travel. What the fuck? Why does he have a net? Or thing like
because it's more of a challenge.
Well, it's because it's a primitive weapon.
Yeah.
All right. And it might be a primitive weapon that's slightly updated. Like for bow season, I go down and get my bow. I'll show you. It's a compound bow, and back in the Bronze Age or the Iron Age, they didn't have compound bows. It's a modernized bow, So that may have been some of the stuff that the Predator had. Is it was based in an ancient weapon, but updated. Like a spear that collapses. Or a fucking thing that's like a discus. It's a sharp discus, but it's got a jet engine in it. It may have not originally had a jet engine in it, but it qualifies under the rules of primitive weapon for that season. You see, the Yauta and the Predator would have had game wardens. Can the game wardens shown in like Alien versus Predator 2 when they had a damn outbreak of a predalien? Well, something got alerted and a dude came all the way from where the Yauta come from to stop the outbreak, and he's not asking for any help. I assume that's a game warden. And if there's game wardens, then that means that there's hunting rules, which that checks out. The Yauta would have had all kinds of weapons that could wipe out a whole city. But that's not hunting. That's warfare. They got to get down there with these fucking discus and fucking spear and a thing that sits on your fucking shoulder and shoots out a plasma bolt, Guess that's kind of like falconry. And then in the other movies, they actually had these things like mechanical falcons that would come and find you, So it checks out. It's all what hunters would do. And then they're hunting each other, too. That's kind of bizarre. But, yeah, that would happen, I guess. If that was the central theme of your culture would be hunting, then that means that they'd probably hunt each other.
Got a couple questions I got behind on. Let's see. Ben says, have you seen Furiosa yet? Yes, we did.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
It's awesome. We did a review of it probably 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
Oracle's asking if we've seen Prey.
Saw it.
Yes, we did. We did a review of that, too. That was a while back, too. I really like that a lot. It was on Hulu. I don't know if it still is or not.
My only problem with Prey is that the Indians didn't look like real Indians to me. They looked like people who lived in California. They weren't hard enough.
I mean,
Yeah.
Pat Hatfield says, and I think we probably talked about this on our review of Predator. We said, speaking of Predator, did you know that it originally looked different and originally had someone different in the suit, Jean-Claude Van Damme? Yeah.
The Predator we know was inserted after the movie was made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They originally had a way different design, and it looked
real
ruined the dorky.
Movie. They said it looked terrible. It ruined the movie.
It did look terrible. I've seen it.
And then talking about Prey, another thing I didn't like about Prey is that the whole idea behind the movie is that the guys are not letting this Indian girl hunt. Total bullshit. Indian women from all tribes hunted. Maybe they didn't hunt buffalo all the time, but fucking they hunted. Which I thought that was kind of bullshit. Fucking Indian women were great hunters.
Let's see. Phantom says Prey was copied from a fan-made film. Not even original, but still decent. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, so, this movie, it's a great concept. But you can tell, and, the acting in it is good. Jack Palance is good. I was going to say, the funniest fucking thing, I busted out laughing. Toward the end, where Jack Palance, he's figured out that the alien is keeping all the bodies of the people he killed in this shed, like out in the woods, right? Where I guess he's gonna eat them later. I don't know. So they're all out there, and he's like, "Oh well, the alien has to come back to that shed to like put the new bodies in there of people he killed. So we're gonna like rig it with dynamite. We're gonna blow the shit up when he's in there, right?" So that's what he does. So it's him and like the final girl, who I think his name is Sandy, because she's like the only one that lived out of all the people. So they're doing that. And obviously some shit goes wrong, and like he shoots at the alien, like the alien flings some of the pierogies at him, and the alien just kind of stands there, and then he shoots the alien, and then he shoots him in the arm, and then just like all this water
it's like a hose
or Gatorade or something.
Yeah,
when it comes out, it's Gatorade probably.
He just touches it
and it just heals himself. Yeah. So he just kind of stands there, and I guess they're kind of waiting for the alien to get close enough to the shed for the explosive to work, which he was right there. I don't really know, but whatever. So finally Jack Palance is like, he has to kind of sacrifice himself and like run toward the alien to alien. Alien! More than once. He says it more than once. And I was like, the whole time I'm watching it, I busted out laughing. I'm like, did he totally just yell alien while running at the alien? Yeah. I'm like, that is the most awesome thing I've ever seen. And I was like, was that written like that in the script? Like, alien with all these exclamation points. Alien! Exclamation points. And they were like, that's great.
He ad-libbed
That's great, Jack.
Alien!
Of all the things you could yell while you were running at the alien, like sacrificing yourself, like at the big climax of the movie, I was like, why didn't he just, you motherfucker, or something? It's just like, I don't know why he was just like, alien. He's like, yes, I am an alien. Thank you for noticing. But it was just like,
that was his war cry. Alien!
So fucking funny.
They made that shit up on the spot.
It was so fucking funny to me, and I laughed so hard. And then like Brandon Tenold has also done a breakdown of this, and I was happy to see that he was also very entertained by that fucking scene. He just like cracked the fuck up, and I was just kind of like, how can you not? It's just it's so bad, and yet it is so awesome. Like at the same time.
Yeah, Ben calls. He says, "What else do you say when you see an alien?" Alien! That was fucking funny, man.
It's like, yes, thank you. You're very observant, and he just like runs at the fucking alien. Oh my god, I just fucking died laughing. I died laughing. Because for a second, I was like, wait, did he really just yell alien like more than once? And I was just like, he did. Oh my god. I fucking love it. I love it. Let's see. CP says, Tom and Jenny, have you seen Camp Blood 1 and 2? The worst horror channel movie. Yeah, I have not, but I have seen... If you guys, I don't think he posts that much anymore, but there was a channel called Shitcase Cinema. It's a British dude. He's a writer too. And he did reviews of like the worst fucking movies ever. And Camp Blood was one of his most popular. Like he kept referring back to it like on later videos just because of how shitty it was. I don't know if I like bad movies, but I've gotten to a point now where it's like it has to be super, super over the top, like entertainingly bad, or it has to have like MST or riff tracks on it, because it's like otherwise I'm just gonna sit there and be like really pissed off. I mean, this movie seemed like it was kind of right in the middle. It's not bad,
no,
but it's not great. Like it's a good concept, but I feel like they didn't have the money to realize the concept as fully as they might have. They had some good ideas in there, and I think like the acting is generally pretty good.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you the way I saw it at the time. Okay, must have been let me see, about 12 when I saw this movie, I guess. About 12. I thought, okay, first of all, budget wise, this was like the standard for a lot of fucking horror movies that you would see on cable television.
Yeah.
So it wasn't considered to be
for
like
early VHS.
So it wasn't considered to be like a cheap movie. They were all kind of cheap.
Yeah.
You know, that's at this time, as far as horror went. But I thought the concept was actually kind of above average for the time.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
It was very different from the time, and watching it gave me ideas. Yeah, what if that would actually happen? My dad's hunting. What if he's out there and aliens coming after him? Yeah. See, I told my dad about this.
Yeah.
We were out in Lake Clarko, Mississippi, fishing. And I said, Dad, there's this movie called Without Warning. You ever see it? He's like, nah. I didn't see that shit. He doesn't watch cable. Cable was some newfangled shit. He didn't watch that. I said, it was about this alien from another planet was coming down hunting people. He's like, really? Because my dad would hunt deer all the time, and he's a hunter. He liked the idea. I told him all about it. He's like, wow, that's something else. That's a good idea. So it was a good idea.
Yeah, I thought so too.
When Predator came out, my dad fucking loved that movie. He fucking loved it.
Like I said, everybody loves Predator.
Like, oh, yeah. And Predator was this come to life, actually. This movie came up with the idea of it, but it really was not executed well enough.
And like you said, it was kind of filmed more like a slasher. They had Jack Palance and Martin Landau, and they were playing like the crazy old dudes or whatever. And then they had like these 4 teenager college age characters like making out and doing stuff like that. So it was almost like a Friday the 13th kind of shit too going on.
It was a good idea, but they didn't think about it long enough, and they didn't write a good enough script to really bring this concept to maturity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And really, if you did that, you'd end up with Predator 1.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
I mean,
so I guess you could say it was half-baked.
This is Greydon Clark we're talking about. Yeah. So
it was half-baked. But hey, when they made Predator, they went back to go get the dude that was in that fucking suit, put him in the Predator suit.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like I said, I kind of feel like they underutilized him in this movie because
they should have used that dude. Should have been in. There should have been at least 3 or 4 scenes because there were 3 or 4 major murders where it killed.
Yeah, a lot of people got killed.
He should have been in every one of them.
And I feel like a lot of people got killed off screen.
Yeah, they got killed.
And here's the weird thing: like the death pierogies.
Yeah.
That was actually a really good effect.
Yeah.
Especially considering how very low budget this movie was. It's very gross, very gooey. There's one scene where one of them flies and it like sticks on the windshield of the truck while they're trying to escape,
and
it's got like little
glass.
teeth, and it's trying to chew through the glass, and it's got like little fucking tentacles and shit. And it was like, that looks really good, for as low budget as this was.
Yeah.
But on the one hand, I feel like they overused that. Like that was the alien's only weapon. Yeah. So it's like once you saw that once or twice, you're like, oh, here's more of this again.
Yeah.
So there was that.
He should have had a couple of weapons.
Like that's what I mean. I was gonna say like in Predator, he had like a few different
ones he could use,
and I think that was like more interesting. Like so it wasn't as repetitive. And I kind of feel like even though I get that they were probably trying to like save up the reveal of the alien until the very end, so you didn't see it. I don't know. I think they pulled back too much. Because you didn't see, and the weird thing about it too is that the one time like when the one guy like Sandy and her like boyfriendy dude or whoever the fuck, and they come across this cabin and nobody's in there, so that's we're gonna hole up, and so they go in there, and then there was like some weird shit where they go in the other room and then they come back and it's like, man, I could have sworn I closed that door, or I could have sworn that I turned that light off, or I turned the water off, or whatever, and it's like so you're led to believe that the alien is in there. But then for a minute I was like, well, is the alien invisible? Because like there's POV shots, but like they don't seem to be seeing it.
Yeah.
Which I was like, well, that would be even more like Predator because
Predator, yeah.
But they didn't really go into that.
They didn't have the technology probably.
So
maybe it did have camouflage.
I didn't, but yeah, so I don't know if that was the implication or if they just didn't want to show it, or they just assumed it was like behind a wall like peeking at people. I don't really know.
During the time when this movie came out, there was I remember as a kid I actually got a better view of this costume through a magazine they had back then in 1980 called Fangoria magazine, and they would show.
They still got that nowadays.
They would show close-up stills in HD of like special effects from horror movies, and this costume actually looked really good. It was like a man-sized, kind of like a gray. It had the big head, but it was kind of grayish green in color, and I remember its eyes. You can't tell in this movie
because it's dark.
It's dark and it's fucking low resolution. This is not a good. The version on YouTube is not HD. It looks like shit. It actually, the guy was wearing contact lenses that look like kind of light green compound eyes. It was like a light green eye with a bunch of little hexagons in it. Mm. Like a compound eye, like a bee or something.
Yeah, you couldn't see that.
You couldn't see that in this, but I remember that's what its eyes look like. It looked like a bunch of compound eyes inside the eyeballs. It looked good. It looked better in the magazines than it did in the movie.
Yeah, because you couldn't barely see it. I feel like because it was like
can't
so
really
dark.
See it. Yeah, but in Fangoria magazine, you could probably find copies of it. This is by memory. I haven't checked, people. By memory, it had compound eyes. Maybe it wasn't contacts. It might have been a mesh over the eye. Like I said, last time I saw that, I was probably about 12 or 13.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
But I remember it looking really good in the comic, in the magazine. And then seeing it on the screen, I was like, oh, yeah. But you see, we were watching on television. CRT television was real low res, real low definition. But if it had come out on film, it would look good. I don't think there was ever a theatrical release of this.
Yeah, I don't know if there was or not. Like I said, weirdly, I mean, there must have been because people heard about it, and I don't think it ever got a VHS release. Like, it was on cable, I guess.
Just cable, I think.
But it didn't get a DVD or Blu-ray release until 2014.
I think it was R-rated.
Which is weird because it's not really...
There's no nudity in it.
There's no nudity, and it's not real gory. I mean, really the only scene, when they find that shed, like, out in the woods or whatever, and, like, all the bodies are in there.
Maybe it was PG.
I mean, I would imagine it's probably a PG.
Yeah, 1980 PG. 1980 was a harder PG. You could see nudity in PG back then.
That's what I mean. And not that there was any nudity in this movie.
And there was a lot of gore. It could still be PG.
And like I said, really probably the goriest thing, like I said, was when they found the bodies in the shed. And even that wasn't that bad.
No.
I think like the worst thing was like Pornstache had like his eye popped out.
Yeah.
Like, and it was kind of like
if kids were to see this today, they'd laugh at it.
Yeah, it's like not
scary
or gory at all. Right. And like I said, there's no titties.
No, and it's not scary. It was scary back then, though.
I can see that. Like, I kind of liked... I liked the score. I tend to like 70s and early 80s movie scores. There's just something about them that kind of evokes that kind of atmosphere that I like.
See,
I did like the score of this one, but
see what they were trying to do in this one is that they were trying to kind of like build up a bunch of tension about what it was that was out there.
Yeah.
And, you know,
which that's fair. That's a good way of doing shit.
We don't really know.
I just don't think they were all that successful.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, when you were like 12 or 13, yeah, maybe you might be like, yeah, we don't know what's out there. You know. But
yeah, because at first you were just seeing people, and you didn't even see people getting killed.
No.
Like I said, there's a scene of David Caruso and his tiny shorts making out with the girl on a blanket. And then next thing you know, their friends are like, where the fuck comes out? And then like, there's nobody there. And they're like, well, where the fuck did they go? And it's like, they thought they were fucking in the van. They're not fucking in the van. They're like, well, where the fuck did they go? And we have to go look for them. And then like the next time you see them, they're dead in the shed. You know what I mean? So you didn't see. So I guess that they were trying to make it like a big mystery.
Yeah.
What it was that was killing them.
Yeah.
But then like when you get to that bar scene where everybody's in there and then Martin Landau's in there talking about the aliens, then you're like, oh, well, it's obviously aliens that's taking them over. But
the Phantom's asking, did the aliens survive the explosion? It's unclear. I guess no.
I mean, probably not. He looked like he was all burned up. And Jack Palance didn't survive the explosion either.
And then and then they end with Sarge. Sarge's fucking monologue showing the stars about we're not alone out there. We're not. So they're kind of like setting up a sequel.
Which, as far as I know,
never happened.
No, never happened. No. But, you know, it's like I said, this is an interesting movie. If you like Predator, and you kind of want to see where the germ of the idea came from, like an alien coming. And I think Phantom also asked if he had a spaceship. No, they couldn't afford to show that shit.
He had a spaceship. They don't show it.
No, yeah, they say that he had a spaceship, but well, the implication, I thought the implication was the aliens have been there for a while, right? Because Sarge was talking about it for a long time, and then Jack Palance was talking about it for a long time too. It's like, like all these disappearances around here, because remember when the kids were going up to the lake, he had his crazy Ralph moment like from Friday the 13th where he's like, don't you go up there, like all these people disappear and all this other kind of stuff.
It's the same thing as in Predator when fucking Anna says, sometimes we find our men without their skin. That's what it is. On the hottest, it's that same thing. On the hottest suburbs, in the hottest years.
Yes, they've been around a while.
Yeah, they've been around a while. They come back when they want to.
Yeah.
During hunting season. And it's been off and on, I guess, for a long period of time.
Yeah, because it was in this movie, like, Sarge had seen them. He had seen the death pierogies. I don't know if he'd seen the alien, but he knew that was from the alien. So maybe he had seen the aliens too.
Only the local guys knew.
Yeah, but they were just but a lot of people didn't believe him. They thought he was crazy.
So there you go. More Predator stuff. That's where they got the idea.
Yeah. Like I said, this is free on YouTube, but the version, at least the version that we found on YouTube, is not great. It's in 4:3 aspect ratio. It looks pretty low res, and it's titled as just The Warning.
The Warning, yeah.
Like, not... Without Warning is generally the accepted title, but it had like a bunch of other titles.
On cable, it was called... On cable back in 1980, 81, it was called Without Warning.
Yeah. Like I said, I've also seen it called... It Came Without Warning. I've also seen it called Alien something or other.
And it had a pretty good poster, which included a silhouette of the damn alien. All this shit about we don't know what's out there and shit. Even as a kid, you knew there was an alien out there.
It's like, look at the big head on that motherfucker.
Yeah, they look at the head on that bitch. That's an E.T. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Although E.T. hadn't come out yet.
Yeah.
When this came out.
Well, no, we just knew that was some kind of gray.
Yeah.
He was like a big evil gray.
Yeah, because they didn't know what gray aliens were in 1980.
Graylians.
Graylians.
Graylians was something that came along later. But if something had a big head on it, it was an alien. Yeah. It goes back to Star Trek.
Now that you mention it, the alien in this kind of reminded me of that one in Star Trek too.
The one that was a fake alien that was in a Dolomite. Fucking what was it? Dolomite?
What are you? I was like Dolomite.
It was the one where they had the little. There was actually a little person, but he was using an animatronic.
Yeah. And they show like a Wizard of Oz type thing.
Yeah, and they show him at the end of every series during the closing credits.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of. It looks actually the alien in this looks kind of like that. It looks kind of like that, along those same lines.
They don't show its face clearly though, but I saw old photographs of it in Fangoria magazine, and it looked really cool. They just didn't show it enough.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't have any confidence in that costume. They should have used that a lot. It'd been great.
Or at least shown like more hints of it, like I said.
Yeah, it from the back, moving things and jumping out of the way. They should have been action scenes. They didn't fucking have any action scenes choreographed.
There really aren't any.
It stood there mostly. Like just its own grandiosity. It's grand. Like
It's just
look
like,
how
yeah,
scary I am.
Shoot me, bitch.
Yeah.
When he gets shot and he just stands there with shit like spewing out of his arm, and he's
there
just
was
like,
all kinds of shit they could have done with that.
Yeah.
But they
I mean,
failed.
I'm sure there were budgetary reasons for that.
Well, come on. It wouldn't take anything to shoot a few
it
seconds
wouldn't.
of scenes
But I'm just saying,
of that thing.
They were just trying to get this in the can.
Yeah.
And out.
Yeah.
You know? So I guess that's what it was.
Yep.
And like I said, we're talking about Greydon Clark here. He's not fucking, Orson Welles or anything like that. So he did Angel's Revenge, for Christ's sake.
They should have expanded on the concept.
Honestly, of all the Greydon Clark movies that I've seen, which is more than I'd care to admit, this is the best one.
Okay.
I don't even think there's a probably in there.
I don't know the other ones.
But the thing about, that's kind of damning with faint praise, because the other ones are kind of sucky.
Yeah, okay.
I remember Satan's Cheerleaders being pretty entertaining, but I also remember seeing that a long time ago and thinking the movie wasn't as entertaining as it should have been given the title. I was like, man, that's a great title, and the movie wasn't as good as I was expecting it. It wasn't as fun as I was expecting it to be. But Final Justice and Angel's Revenge are
the Alien
terrible movies, but they're good MST episodes.
When we were watching the Alien at the time, last time we saw it last night or the night before, I said to Jen, that looks a lot like Pumpkinhead.
It did look a bit like
Alien
Pumpkinhead.
looked a lot like Pumpkinhead.
Yeah. Except he wasn't naked or nothing.
Right, yeah.
He had clothes on. Ben said, when was Communion? When did the Christopher Walken Communion movie come out? I don't remember when. How dare you?
How dare you?
I don't remember when the book came out. Whitley Strieber's book came out in probably the 70s, maybe early 80s. And I think the movie, which we reviewed, which is one of the weirdest fucking movies I've ever seen in my entire life, which is saying something. The movie was maybe late 80s, early 90s. I don't know. Look it up and see. I'm not real sure. But I still... Every single time I think about Christopher Walken getting anal probed by the vacuum cleaner thing in the wall.
The central vacuum cleaner.
The central vacuum cleaner hose that they have for convenience's sake for all the anal probing that they have to do. And I'm just like, wow, that's nice they had that whole system installed. That's what I thought. Like the whole time I was like, they do so many anal probes. They're like, well, we need to have the probes like at convenient locations like all around, so we could just pull them out of the wall and stick them up people's butts like whenever we need to. And I was just like, that's just, working smarter, not harder, I guess. I don't know what that was, but I don't know. That was just very funny to me. Let's see. Vice says the reveal of the alien with the swinging lamp is a pretty cool scene from this one. Yeah, I think honestly, from an artistic standpoint, I think that was probably like the best executed scene. You know what I mean? And I also like that they killed off the boyfriend, because I think, at least from what I've heard, that they were not originally going to do that. He wasn't really her boyfriend. I think they had just been set up. But I think he was actually supposed to survive, and then they're like, no, not enough people died in it, so we're going to kill him off. So that was like a little bit of a surprise, because I thought that he was going to make it, like, to the end, and he didn't. So I like that they did that. So when Sandy like comes around the corner and sees him and he's got like the pierogi thing on his face, and then she's like, oh shit, and then there's like the swinging light and everything. Yeah, I thought that was like really well done. So they did put some thought into it, like into the shot compositions and stuff. So, and like I said, of all the Greydon Clark movies I've seen, this is easily the best one. But that's only because the other ones are kind of not all that good.
Yeah, as far as my recommendation of this, I recommend it if you're a fan of Predator. I recommend this for historical reasons. Okay.
Just because it's interesting to see where
the idea
came from.
And you can see where they got a lot of the ideas from Predator 1. And you don't have to take the movie real seriously. It's free. You can watch it on YouTube. You can kick back and fucking drink and laugh. Martin Landau, fucking...
People saying hubba hubba for no reason. People going alien while they're running it.
It's got some cheese in it.
I'm gonna do that to you one of these days. I'm just gonna start running at you down the hall.
Yeah, it had some good ideas. and you go, man, they really could have done something with this.
Yeah.
And they did. Predator.
Yeah.
Predator.
Someone did do something
Someone
with it.
did do
So
something.
see, every time we say, like, if you're gonna remake a movie, I mean, this isn't a remake because it has a lot of differences too, but. You know, if you're gonna rebuild, like, take something that was a good idea but was poorly executed, and make it, and that's what they did.
Yeah, it's a trip. That Predator is a rip off of this.
Yeah. Let's not even call it a ripoff. Let's just call it a vast improvement upon.
Yeah. It's an improvement of this one.
Like I said, they didn't have the money or the
it's not a ripoff. They were
screenwriting
inspired
talent
by
or anything. Yeah. Vice versa also mentions Fire in the Sky. Said that's a scary one about Greys. Yeah, based on a true story too. We reviewed that one not too long. That is a great movie, actually. One of the scariest like alien abduction scenes. It's like not funny at all, like in that movie. Not like Communion. Where it's just funny. Like Christopher. Can you imagine Christopher Walken getting fucking abducted by aliens?
Yeah, and then they're putting a vacuum cleaner hose up in his booty, and him tolerating it, but then just looking at him like, "How dare you?"
Oh, you liked it.
How dare you?
That's what the alien said. He's like, all right, I admit it. I did kind of like it.
Fucking funny.
Sorry, Christopher Walken, I love you. But, you know, I mean, that is the weirdest fucking movie I've ever seen. Like, his performance is just bizarre. Like, you can tell that he's like, I don't even really want to be in this movie, so I'm just going to, like, go get weird with it. I guess. I don't really know. All right, so I guess you have anything else you would like to add?
No.
All right.
We've talked about this shit for an hour.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. On Wednesday night's show, we're doing another true crime one, and this one was actually a recommendation from one of you guys. I had never heard about this case. It's pretty recent. Remember how we always say that, like, female killers don't do super fucked up shit? Okay. Here's an exception to the rule. We're going to be talking about... the case of Taylor Shabusiness, which is her last name.
Shabusiness.
Yeah, she wasn't born with that last name, but yeah, we'll explain that. And she did some real messed up stuff to her friend/boyfriend. So we'll get into that on Wednesday night's show. It's a pretty messed up story. Lots of drugs and dismemberment involved. Good. And I know how much you guys love that. So, yeah, hopefully you guys can make it. Thank you very much for listening this evening. Thank you very much for your super chats. And we will see you guys again on Wednesday night. Good night.